Behind the scenes for episode 12 of Reversed Fates. Fun fact, this is the first thumbnail to feature a character who isn't a Reversed Fates redesigned character. Congratulations, Summer! Yeah, there's an opening melody for the title card now. My beautiful twin sister, Twins Inc., made it for me. She's so cool and is perfect, and you should watch her content because she is very funny. We got more pajamas for this episode too. For Blake, I wanted to stay kinda close to what her normal show pajamas are, kinda like how I already did with Ruby and Weiss. Yang ended up being a bit different though. So, Team Venom didn't pack anything. They didn't bring pajamas with them or anything. Back in Volume 1, they decided to head out on a whim, and they just left without taking anything with them. So Ozpin would have been like, no, you need pajamas, and gave them generic school merch to use instead. For the lounge area in Junior's club, I wanted to use screenshots of the lounge the kids go to in Persona 4. Unfortunately, I couldn't find any pictures of the location without the character models all in the way. So I had to settle for this stock image instead. With the colors match Junior's club, so I guess it's fine, but still. Time to answer some of your questions from the last BTS vid. Is Summer and Tai still active huntsmen? Yes, they both are still active. Tai, just like Show Proper, is a teacher at Signal Academy. Will I ever add this to Spotify? I don't know if I can. Like, am I allowed to post fan fiction to Spotify? What is my favorite change to the characters? That's tough, because I've tried not to stray too far from their canon personalities. I guess I would have to say Jean, just because my Jean is so much more chill than canon Jean. Do the relics work the same way as in canon, or are they different? Technically, since we haven't seen the sword or crown in action, I suppose I could have accidentally written them the same way that the show proper plans to do them, but I doubt it. They are going to be different from what the show has done with them, but you'll have to wait and see how exactly that's going to happen. How did I make the designs for the characters? I tried to approach it from the perspective of really hammering home the things that's different about them in this AU. Like, since Team Venom are all from Raven's tribe, I tried to copy the clothing style Raven wears. Weiss stayed in Atlas, so I tried to go all out, making her look much more rich. You know? Some of them I didn't want to stray too far from what they normally wear, but I did try to do something unique, like adding the belt of various dust crystals to Ilya. But honestly, a lot of it was just me having fun with the characters, which is the most important part, I think. What's Team Persevere's Reversed Fates? Pyrrha's fate is that she stayed in Argus and went to Haven Academy. Canon Pyrrha lamented her fame, Reversed Fates Pyrrha embraces it. For Ren, the Nukkalavi never destroyed Kuroyuri, so he got to stay and grow up with his parents. For Emerald, she never met Cinder, so she would have eventually gotten caught stealing and would decide to turn her life around and join the police academy, then transition into becoming a huntress. And for Velvet, in canon, Coco is like, no, don't waste your dust and stuff, don't use your semblance if you don't have to. Reversed Fates Velvet is like, no, you are the strongest, your semblance is super strong, you need to be a warrior. Where can people who don't use Twitter send fan art? Blue Sky. I have added a link to my Blue Sky account in the description. Honestly, I should have put it in there sooner. Also, what episode will we see the dance outfits? Episode 18! I'm so excited for you all to see. Who was the hardest character to redesign? Velvet, actually. Because her semblance is so versatile, she needs to embody a bunch of different people's skill sets, so designing an outfit around that idea is hard, especially since I wanted her Reversed Fate to be more combat-oriented. I'm not too sure I really nailed what I wanted to do, but I still think she looks cute, at least. Will Reversed Fates explore the other gods? Yes! Yes, it will. Your first question ended up getting answered in episode 2, but for your second question, how long does it usually take to make an episode? Well, it sort of depends on what happens. Certain moments will need extra art, so putting together the art for the scene might take a while, especially if it's action. However, once the art is done, it's really easy putting it together in editing. Normal talking scenes involve a layer for the background, and then each character is their own separate image layer too. The more characters in a scene, the longer it might take to edit it all together. But to answer your question, I would say on average 1 to 2 weeks is how long it takes to put it all together once I have all the art and stuff. Am I still using the color naming rule? Not Really? Listen, some team names are just real dang tricky to put together. Though you could sort of think of it like a weird Rorschach test of color association. What kind of color do you think of when you hear the team name Boom? Leaving it sort of up to your own interpretation might be a cool way of thinking about it. How do I get the background music? Bandicam. I record basically everything with Bandicam. I find the soundtracks for the games on YouTube, and then I record the screen with Bandicam and I capture the audio. You can also record your screen with OBS too if you want. Both of these things are free. If you have an Apple computer, it might not work though, because Apple doesn't usually like playing with others. Why'd I decide to give the maidens the different powers they have? I knew I wanted Fall to have the time powers because it's the home of the beacon relic and I wanted to connect that to Ozpin. I had already decided that Vernal would have the typical maiden powers from the show right from the beginning. Summer and Winter kinda just fell into place after that. There's a more specific reason on why I gave them the powers they have, but I don't want to spoil anything, so I'm going to leave it disappointingly vague. Sorry. How do I interconnect the stories so well? It's easier than you might think. I start with a really bare bones bullet point list of the key major things I want each team to tackle in the volume, and then I just slowly start building onto it, and I see where certain paths can cross, certain themes might line up with each other, some things need to get shuffled around, but it mostly just boils down to what will help push the characters forward with their goals. Matt Stone and Trey Parker, the creators of South Park, actually words it really well.
Words and then belong between those beats. You're and between every beat that you've written down is either the word therefore or but. Should be this happens and therefore this happens. But this happens, therefore this happens.
And that's it for this time around. If you have any more questions, leave them in the comments below, and I'll see you real soon for episode 13. Shout out to my $10 patrons, you're all amazing. Andrew, Valhalla Knight, Chamomile, Classy Critic, Genital War Thunder, Jake, Amber, Hype Man, Scaring Crows, Not All That Evil, Holly, Messiah, Jacob, Ben's Sketchbook, Rain, Trash, Wild Pilot, Josh, Twisty, Bunkin' Duncan, Hoodie Angel, Ranger, Hut Mutt Butt, Sean, Primaroon, Overhypin, Lava Roast, Plague, Tyrene, Thanos, Pandemonium, Peter, Agiri, Shahid, Eden, The Eliza, Doki Pokey, Moon of Blues, Spencer, Bargus Blue, Cage the Mage, and ... So yeah, what do you think? Are you excited? I can't wait. Yeah, episode 18 is the dance, and I can't wait for us to get there, but there's gonna be so much fun stuff between here and there. Any and all questions you have, go ahead and leave them in the comments. I would love to help answer them if I can. Some of them I might have to be vague because spoilers, but we'll see. Fun stuff. Any and all thoughts and opinions, leave them in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.